Good morning, viewers. Welcome to the Daria Reactions. I'm Fred. If you're new to the channel, glad that you're here. If you're a returning viewer, I'm glad that you're back. So full disclaimer, normally when I do these videos, I am re-watching them, and you get my reaction for having not seen these episodes in the case of season 4 in 24 years. But that's not going to be the case here with this week's episode, Psychotherapy, because I did watch it a couple weeks ago when I was doing the recording for of Human Bonding, which was last week's episode. Here's what happened. The it didn't record. Uh, so I waited a few weeks to try and let my memory dissipate, but I do remember what this episode is. I do know it's still fresh in my mind. I try not to do that to give you all the genuine have not seen these episodes in nearly a quarter of a century viewpoint reaction, because as I like to say, I was in high school when Daria was on MTV back in the day. Season 4 basically is the back end of my junior year, start of my senior year of high school. So again, that basically reveals I graduated in 2001. For like if you're doing the math here in the United States. So with that disclaimer aside, I am going to be rewatching this episode for the second time this month. Just a couple weeks difference here, and hopefully we will have no issues. For those who don't know, we do the display capture. It's circled. We turn the blur on and off. Y'all don't hear any of the audio from it because we try to skirt around as much of the DMCAing as possible here, because I do a lot of other things on this YouTube channel as it relates to shorts and as well as an archive for my Twitch channel. So this is just something else I'm doing on the side of on other projects. So with that said, let's get into it straight away, shall we? Let's shall. And yes, we are using the DVD box set. La 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 la. Now, one thing I can totally appreciate with Daria is having Pop-Tarts for breakfast, because it is like a necessary evil sometimes. If you don't have anything else to eat, grab some Pop-Tarts. Which reminds me, the next time I get some groceries, Pop-Tarts is definitely necessary. Well, no, this was an episode when I watched it a few weeks ago. This It kind of puts like a big spotlight on Helen in terms of how she really prioritizes her career over her family, because she's going to be getting a call very shortly that the meeting that she said was canceled is back on. See? Yep. Yep, she totally ditched them. Now, let's talk about Jake drinking milk straight out of the carton. He didn't realize that other people are using that milk for cereal. Funny enough, the audio music that just played was actually the theme for Crash Holly from the WWF back in that around the same time period, or Hardcore Holly, or Molly Holly, since this was 2000-ish, early 2000. No, Molly Holly did not debut in the WWF until later in the year. Yes, Helen, you are a rotten mother. No, I take that back. Helen is the good mother. She just really puts an emphasis on a career and advancing up the corporate ladder more than anything else. I mean, she's a bit of a suck up, and this scene certainly does prove that. But but when you really think about it, this is like Helen's like first true spotlight episode. She's had like B plots, but it's not like he was ever like the focus of an episode, at least to this extent, in comparison to many of the other episodes where she spotlight. And a lot of those times it's often with Jake more often than not, because why not? And once again, the Morgendorfers are having lasagna. Jake is drinking so much damn milk, it's not. That can't be good for him either. Of course, he is chugging it to relax, and but he's going to town on it. Yeah, yeah, it's totally 1984 in terms of how much things like these pre-screening stuff, these psychoanalysis things that often I've seen that in terms of my off and on again job hunt. Got Milk Jake, where there are pre-screening interviews where you're just literally filling out a survey, and they are using that as a way to eliminate anybody from applying for the jobs, even despite they are qualifying. Now, the B plot in this episode, again, having already seen it fairly recently, is hilarious. Where basically, uh, Jane is going into becoming an internet celebrity of only like about less than a half dozen people watching, but it is certainly a choice of exploration, especially when with that computer and everything is set up in her room and with the webcam pointing right at her bed. So make your own major judgments there. But it's ahead of its time. Jake is mellow as all hell. No, he has not lost his mind. Jake is stoned. Jake is stoned on dairy. Helen is stressed as all hell here. Look, and she rips into him for trying to drink the milk to relax, and she takes it from him. This scene was hilarious as all was fucking hilarious. We got a bunch of people in white coats looking to like put Daria in a padded room because of how she responded to the questionnaire. Yeah, very. Yeah, Daria knows how to game the system on a questionnaire. Hey, turning water into wine is an easy trick. You just need food coloring and a dab of like alcohol. Daria is. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Daria is extremely well adjusted. Due to disappointing that he can't sedate Daria, Daria is mellow enough already. And I've said it before. I'll say it again. I miss the slow mo commercial bumpers, especially coming out and back from break. Those bumpers were just perfect for the time. Yes, Daria telling Jane to open up a little wider while watching her on a webcam. Yeah, that is truly ahead of its time, folks. Daria uses humor to tell people to fuck off, and I don't blame her. Daria is trying to get herself out of it, but things did not work out there. And Helen is just jumping the gun on these word association. Nope, you can't, Helen. Jake getting a bit of therapy is quite nice because it allows him to open up and actually vocalize things in a controlled setting without him having a heart attack again. Again, Jake represses a whole lot of issues. He swallows a whole lot of anger, like I swallow a lot of pizzas. Jake is just Jake is trembling bad. Oh, this you watch this episode, watch the therapist who's here to analyze Quinn. That she is just wanting this to end. Quinn, Quinn, yap 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 yap. It is nice. It is kind of unique that Daria gets like the most plain looking room, but it completely works for her. Holy crap! I just noticed when the therapist dude was on screen just now that his the image of him wasn't completely parallel with the bottom of the frame. You know, if this was anything else, if they wanted to go for the dark humor, well, this poor old woman would be like the old woman in Airplane when Stryker's telling him about his how he met Ellen at the bar. Like, if you've seen Airplane, you know what I'm referring to. And of course, Quinn is going to try and get with Daria's therapist, psychoanalysis. And there's a bit of some of the close-up shots in this episode, especially when you see like character's head, center frame, upper body, chest, upper torso is not going to the bottom of the frame. And of course, Quinn is going to regress back to her personality of Cleopatra. Yeah, it is it is a bit nuts that Quinn in a past life was Cleopatra, but yeah, Daria has no problems. She's totally well adjusted considering this right here with Quinn. Daria is the most well adjusted character in animated in animation history when you really think about it. La la, and on to Act 3. Daria is back and spying on Jane. And and Trent, of course, scratching his butt on camera and not knowing it is quite interesting. Helen telling Jake to calm down is why he's always stressed out in the first place. Oh yeah, and this is where Helen steps over the line. It's like like Jake gets asked a question and Helen steps over it. He was about to say stuff. Like it takes Jake a while. Jake is not totally used to opening up to folks, so and this is allowing him to completely just snap and let out a lot of frustration. Yeah, this this scene here, this is the most unusual cameo and callback in regards to of all the characters to bring back is the lady that Jane and Daria was refused to sell chocolate bars to. Yeah, that's doggy style. Weird audio replacement here that they have is like some sort of like stand in for 50s rock. Tom is being exposed. No, it was the world according to Jane. And I kind of wonder though, considering Jane was using like an iMac computer, did Apple have like some sort of sponsorship? Okay, and that other guy, yes, it was a Two Face Face Off reference. Quinn is being Daria. Yep. It, and there is something about the season 4 where it looks like Daria is wearing some sort of lipstick, and this is kind of off putting at times. Jake just ripping Jake getting a chance of ripping the Helen is awesome here. Of course, Helen gets to fire back. That's about right. They're firing back and forth and back and forth. It is allowing Helen the big point is Helen actually is getting idea of how she is seen, and she's blushing, she's embarrassed. It's like it's a miracle they don't get divorced. Yep, it's not a spa. Well, it is a spa, of course. And this is a great moment here with Daria, reaffirming her faith, telling Helen to like that she's a good mom and that she's doing all the stuff that she's can. She's above him. She goes above and beyond. But at the same time, Helen seems both oblivious and aware. It's blackmail material. at the same time, this scene here is also a great scene when you think of human bonding, where Daria and Jake have like their bonding moment in the hotel, and Daria brings up how it's like, oh, they spend a lot of time at the kitchen table reading the paper. That's their time. That's their like father daughter time. It's the type of relationship that they have, and this also balances this thing out there for Helen as well, and Jake coming in to apologize for a lot of the things he said. It wasn't the milk talking. Jake was right. Oh, that's nice. What doesn't what doesn't have cholesterol? Yeah, it's funny that Quinn says, "Oh, it's like I'll take a hint," when finding out this is the warm family moment, as if as if being assumed, as if assuming that yeah, it's not for her. She is. Yeah, her willingness to put career ahead of family, which kind of undercuts everything that her character arc in this episode. She partially regrets it, but at the same time, it's uh, it's unfortunate because Helen does not really evolve at much of as a character. Her career is like the most important thing to her at this phase. Uh, Chimney, chim. I'm sure Tom will be thrilled to get fan mail from some inmates. Chocolate cake for breakfast is a wonderful thing to have. Good, good question. There were no pancakes, Jake. All right, so having watched this episode twice this month, and obviously remembering a lot from it before, so I had some commentary and things, and actually they talk about stuff that I did not think of the first time through. It's a fine episode. It's the fact that it's Helen focused, try to give her some character development, but at the same time, it undercuts the character progression that she gets. It's like, why couldn't they? Why wouldn't they uh, push Helen? It's like, okay, to pull back a bit on her career ambitions. Uh, but that's just how her character is written. Unfortunately, it's either all or nothing with her career. So despite things with Jake and his needs and worries, but Daria points out that Jake feeling like he's neglected does allow him to have some sort of control over things as it relates to himself, and Quinn is just Quinn. The B plot with Jane's webcam served for nice little side moments here, and when you really think about it, it's quite ahead of its time to an extent. As like Jane was really thinking, yes, like we'll have the webcam on and streaming what's going on in the of the life. Again, this episode came out in 2000, so when you really think about it, a lot of what we see here with vloggers and commentary reaction videos, live streaming on Twitch, and so forth. The fact that that the producers and the creative team at Daria had Jane doing that in an episode that aired in 2000, not many things like stand the test of time, but in its own way, despite her using an iMac computer, that is something that is still culturally relevant. I would know because y'all know I'm on Twitch every single night. So with that said, that fine episode. And it's just unfortunate I had to watch it twice due to technical issues. So with that said, I believe this episode is premiering on Christmas Day. So it will be Christmas morning. So with that said, Merry Christmas to y'all. Hope all of you had a great holiday, as I realized that. And that means the next episode that we cover will be in the year 2025. Time flies when you're having fun, or when you're a loser like me. So with that said, tighten your friendship bracelets, stay safe, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Bye!